Hi, I'm Brittney Martens and I'm the head of props here at Western Canada Theatre, and I'd like to talk to you a little bit about sleight of mind.
Since yesterday I've been sitting in that boarding house not knowing whether he's dead or alive. So this is Mitzi.
As the head of props, I look at a script, I make a props list from that, in which sometimes stage directions or characters say the name of an object, and I write that down and make a props list. And then I confer with the designer about the general look of what they're looking for. With Sleight of Mind, it's a ghostly drama that takes place in the 1920s. So that has a lot to do with the look and the style of different items that I might have to find/make. For example, like the gramophone. Gramophones can be quite expensive if you try to buy one. So we actually found a record player at a thrift store that was kind of perfect, and it worked, which was an important thing. But then we needed a horn to add on. We actually found a French horn that was no longer being used as a French horn, and we adapted it to be the horn of the gramophone.
Research, your experiment has been a failure.
With Sleight of Mind, a lot of the scenes take place in Dr. Price's laboratory. Hans, our designer, designed this beautiful set of a bunch of shelves that needed to be filled with a bunch of science stuff. We didn't have a ton in stock, so I went to the local science community. I went to the Big Little Science Center and TRU. I asked them if they had any extra stuff that they might be willing to lend us, and that's what's hanging out behind me here. They've generously let us go through and look at things that might be able to fit, and they were very generous in letting us borrow them. What's helpful about this show is that it's based on a true story. So Dr. Harry Price was a real person, same with Rudy Schneider. And so we actually have some images of what his laboratory looked like, including the chair that Rudy sits in. And so Hans, our designer, he designed this chair. I'm not much of a carpenter, but luckily we have our head of carpentry, James Beefert, who lovingly made that chair for us. And so I just had to add like the different little elements to it. We have had to adapt different things like gloves to look like they have wires on them, and socks to look like they're made out of scouring bags and stuff like that to match what Dr. Price's chair originally looked like. So along with a lot of science stuff that we had to find, we also had to find some antiques like our camera. So I went to my favorite little antique shop in Kamloops, Harmonies, and we found a small camera from the 1920s. And Hans, our designer, wanted it to be a little bit more substantial. So I cut it up and added a few pieces to it to make it a little bit bigger. That's another thing that we do, is we find something that is from that era and we adapt it to make it what the designer would like to see.
What is happening?
I'm persuading your fiancé to believe you. Rudy, please look at me.
Please, Lois, you will never understand.
What's so difficult to understand?
As you can imagine, with a show that's filled with ghosts and science, there's a lot of potential for theater magic. Come join us for Sleight of Mind at the Sagebrush Theatre from October 13th to the 22nd. We know you're going to love it.